And there's also the quiz segment later on the show where I ask questions. And if you get them, yes, you're going to win something. All right, from Nigerian Golden Goals to Olympic Sharks to African Giants that shook the world stage. The show is your backstage pass to the past. I'm going to be bringing you facts, voices, memories, and maybe even a few tunes as we relive the moment. We relive the moments that made fans scream, nations proud, and history. Take note.
We hate about the statistics. The players today play for the statistics. This is the biggest mistakes they can do. We are involved in that. Statistics are just a pattern, information that we have. But there are players that make the game or the team play good when they are not in the statistics. But the players just talk, how many goals I scored, how many assists, how many this kind of situations, and they'll forget everything. This is a problem to the real world and the real football. It's just my statistics. Never existed statistics before. It's how you play today. You perform your maximum, you prefer your best, you help your teammates to make the process defensively, offensively, what we are talking about better. It's enough.
And as I said, yeah, to make mistakes, or a player will have a bad game, or the team at times might have a bad game, but I know what fans want to see, I know what fans expect, I know what I expect, and that's the players to come in every day, train hard and play hard. You can use it, of course, and you can use it you can see if a player's likely to get injured in training, if you push them a bit hard. There's loads of different things you can do, and that's where I delegate really well with my staff.
Right, yeah.
They know more than I do on the data side of things and stuff like that. So, yeah, I think you have to with recruitment as well. But then you can look at the data, and you're looking for patterns of what players are, how consistent are they? Are they playing well 1 in 4 games? Are they playing well 3 out of 4 games, 4 out of 4 games, whatever?
£14 million. They bought Marco Correa for £15 million, and they sold him for £60 million. They bought Mitoma for £3 million, and recently they I think most likely Man U will buy him for about £100 million. That's big business. Now the big question is, how on earth are they able to find such talent and make so much money from them? had to watch the players live. That was the only means to see these players play. But right now, every league, every continent, every football team, every academy right now in the world keeps stats of their player, because you don't know who is watching. Who has the time of traveling across different countries? Just a very few people have that time of traveling from one country to another. But you know one thing? They look at the body ball rules. Every club now puts their player statistics online. So they go on there, different clubs out there, they go on there to search these players. And now let me tell you something about transfer. The big clubs don't have the time to do all of that. But the mid to the lower clubs, they have that time. Now what they do is they scout these players, develop them 1, 2, 3 years, and eventually export them to the big clubs. Now, just like Brighton, they got McAllister from Argentinos Junior right there in Argentina, and they bought him for £7 million. Now, Brighton did the job of scouting, and eventually Liverpool perched on Brighton, and they signed him for £35 million. Now, that explains what I'm trying to say, that the small clubs don't have that time. The big clubs, I beg your pardon, don't have that time to scout players. Now, they would leave it for the smaller or the middle-class clubs. Now, the middle-class clubs, they want to compete with the big clubs, and they know the only way they can make good money is when they transfer some of their players to these bigger clubs. So for Brighton, they made money from McAllister. It just took them £7 million to get McAllister from Argentina, and the club was Argentinos Junior. Sold him times, I'm not very good at maths, I don't want to fall my hand on the show, maybe times, let's leave that. So let's say times 5. That's times 5 of how much they bought McAllister from Argentina Junior. You talk about Trossard, you talk about Marc Cucurella, but the biggest of them all was Moise Caicedo. They signed him for £4.5 million, and eventually they sold him for 115 they break down stats, I wonder, if they break down the player stats, sometimes I see them and I'm boom. You see, stats has its advantage. Honestly speaking, sometimes you see some things and you wonder. Even talking about clubs, when they lose games like Chelsea, and they said the last time that they lost back-to-back was, I think, 1993. And I was surprised and shocked. If not for stats, I wouldn't have known. So that even helped we sports broadcasters. Sometimes when you say some things, the fans out there would wonder and just be wowed. Because, you've done in-depth research. You've understood some certain analysis. And that's what these data companies have provided for us. They began collecting detailed football information from matches around the world. Suddenly, almost every action on the pitch could be recorded. Not just goals anymore, not clubs, not just assists. Now clubs could track distance covered, successful dribbles, defensive recoveries, pressing actions, passing angles, sprint speed, ball progression, positional movement. Football was becoming measurable in ways nobody imagined before. Then came one of the biggest breakthroughs in football analytics, and it was called expected goals. These statistics changed football conversation forever. Expected goals tries to measure the quality of a scoring chance. In simple terms, it asks, how likely was this chance to become a goal? So instead of only saying, this player scored, analysts could now say he scored from a low probability chance, or his team created many chances but wasted them. These completely transformed match analysis, and fans began understanding football beyond just the scoreline, and at club level, some teams became pioneers of football analytics. And one major example is Brentford. Before becoming an established Premier League side, Brentford relied heavily on data-driven recruitment. Instead of competing financially with bigger clubs, they used analytics to define underrated talents before their market value exploded. Another strong example is Liverpool SC under Jurgen Klopp. Remember, he signed Sadio Mane from Southampton. And also signed Virgil van Dijk, yes, from Southampton. Liverpool combined traditional coaching with advanced analytics. Their recruitment structure reportedly focused heavily on data profiling. Players were analyzed not only for talent, but also for pressing ability, physical intensity, tactical intelligence, efficiency under pressure. And these helped build one of Europe's strongest teams. And today, almost every top club in the world uses analytics department. Some clubs now employ data scientists, tactical analysts, performance specialists, video analysts, sports technologies. Football has evolved far beyond what it used to be. The game that was once guided mainly by instinct is now deeply connected to information. But here is the interesting part. Statistics did not just change clubs, statistics changed the fans too, because once fans gain access to football data online, football conversations change forever. That's why when I argue with some of my friends, honestly speaking, I would just tell them, just bring the stats. We don't need to argue too much, just bring the player stats. If a player scores 25 goals, or let's take for example, if a striker scores 30 goals, and I'm talking about a striker that plays in the top 5 best league. Because right now, if we look at it, Harry Kane has scored more goals than any other striker. And if we are to argue, probably going to say that Harry Kane is the best striker currently in the world. But some people would argue with me. They say, no, he plays for Bundesliga. Sometimes they would argue that his impact on the team compared to the likes of Michael Olise and Luis Diaz is not that effective. Some would even rather say Mbappe or even Haaland is a better striker than Harry Kane this season. But if it's a public debate, if it's a debate, the person who says that Harry Kane is the best striker in the world has more advantage. You know why? Because Harry Kane has more goals currently than any other striker in the top 5 All right, special thanks to Yusuf Oladimiji, the studio manager for today. Big shout out to Auntie Fee and also the engineer on duty, Amos33. And straight to the producer of the show, Pretty the Finest, Adegoke. And to the general manager of Melody 100.7 FM, Eniola Afolabi, the sports marshal. And straight to the chairman of Melody FM, Prophet Sam Adebayo Joe Baba Authority. Thank you so much, sir, for this platform. I do not take it for granted.